Okay, time now is 12:10, 12:11 afternoon on August 18th. We are 4 days away from leaving Hong Kong. Also, the first day since I've been back from Kyoto. And, oh my god, I had a good sleep. I slept from about 1:30 to around 9:45. Actually, like 9:15 maybe. I already woke up. So like 3 hours ago, I already woke up, and yeah, I already woke up like 3 hours ago. Actually, I woke up like at 7. I woke up. I woke up at 7 something. I woke up at 8 something, and I feel like I woke up like 5 times maybe. But yeah, I woke up a bunch of times, and ugh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. I woke up a bunch of times, and then finally at around 10, I left my bed, and I checked my phone. So originally, I did set an alarm at 10:55, just in case I suddenly decide to sleep a lot, but I didn't. But I um, slept till like I I set an alarm at 10:55 because at 11 a.m. there's the HKOS Zoom meeting. But then I woke up at 10 and I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll just wake up now. And then I checked my phone. Turns out the HKOS Zoom meeting is like a whole hour early now. And it started at 10. Because one of us in the team were sick in the hospital and they need to rest. So we just, Kay, the founder of HKOS, decided to hold the meeting an hour early, super last minute, and she's like, well, if you can join, just join. So I immediately joined. So from 10 a.m. to like 11:20, for like 80 minutes straight, I was just walking around the room holding my phone up just like this on a Zoom meeting. And we're pretty much 1 week away from the film festival, which is fucking crazy to think about. And I feel like I haven't done enough. Kay expected me to not do anything. Kay asked me, "Hey, how's the interview thing going?" I, you probably haven't done anything about it, right? And I was like, "No, I did do something about it. I contacted the director, and we're doing the interview tomorrow night." And she's like, "Oh," and then she told me a bunch of information about the podcast. So yeah, I'm doing this podcast interview thing tomorrow night. And then, damn, what the heck is happening here? Um, yeah, and then that's pretty much it. I just had a stomach ache and I went to the bathroom again. And that's that. Yeah, and Giant continues to talk to me. I don't know. It's a little nerve wracking to see Giant. Also, it's gonna be rainy all day. It's not raining now, but it's gonna be rainy all day, all night. And so when I meet Giant, it's gonna be wet and rainy, and it could be a vibe. But yeah, I'm just trying my best to be at my best self. I'm just, um, I'm just gonna try my best to dress nice. I'm gonna, um, shave, and I'm gonna try my best to have her enjoy the best night possible in Hong Kong. I saw a meme on Twitter last night essentially saying, "You're in my city, okay?" And it's like, this is an introvert's nightmare. When someone is in your city and, you're like pressured to give them a good time, you're pressured to even see them. It's like an introvert's nightmare, and I do get it, it's kind of a nightmare, but isn't all life a nightmare? Might as well make the best of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm excited to see Giant tonight. Literally in 5 hours, I'll be seeing her. That's a scary thought. Um, and yeah, so yeah. And then aside from that, I'm not gonna be filming any reviews. I just want to chill for the first part of the day. I just want to chill. I don't want to do much, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes, and yay, yeah. Okay, it's 5:48 p.m. I'm kind of spooked right now. I'm gonna put on my glasses, I am dressing as simply but as honestly as I possibly can, and it's not helping. And yeah, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, we took
Damn. Oh well. Alright, time now is 11:48, and yes, I'm really sleepy right now because in Japan time it's actually 12:48, and I would be sleeping around this time right now. So yeah, the sleepiness is kind of hitting me. I'm gonna watch some anime and then I'm gonna head to bed, and that's it. So today's sweet and simple, really. I spend most of the day not doing much, which I very much deserved. And then at around 5 p.m., at around 5:50, I left. So it was a little complicated because Jayon and her family, aka her mom and her brother, went from Shanghai to Hong Kong, and they got off the airport and they went to the hotel, and yeah, the original plan was I would be meeting Jayon at 5, but at around 4:30 I realized I wasn't even ready, so I shaved, I dressed up in a nice shirt, I wore long pants, nothing simple, nothing too crazy. I don't have crazy clothes anyways, but yeah, something simple. And then I went out. But at the same time, I was also kind of obsessed with editing this trailer for HKOS Film Festival. Even though there already is a trailer for the festival, I wanted to edit one, in my way, basically. So yeah, I didn't leave until around 5:50, and I told Jayon, like, hey, let me know if you're heading out so that I would know how much time I would need to get there, right? Or like so that I would know like around when should I leave. So Jayon's like, okay, I'm heading out now, and I'm like, bro, I'm in my apartment. I'm in Saiwan-ho, and she's in Central, which is about half an hour away by MTR. So the fastest I could get there is 6:20. So I arrived at Central Station at 6:25, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's like an age thing, but I don't feel that nervous. But I was quite nervous though. Like, I listened to music on my way to the station, and I got a little nervous. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens, And hold on. I was like, whatever happens, happens, and I don't know. I was just kind of alert. I listened to music, and as I went up the escalator, I looked at the adverts. The frames. They sort of like go past me, and I'm like, okay, it's happening, I guess. But I feel like I've thought about this for enough time where it doesn't, like, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna let it happen, And again, like, I feel like if it was Leslie, if this was 2023 and it was Leslie, things would have been different. Like, I would have been, ooh, I need to wear this specific shirt and I need to say these specific things. But now I kind of care less. I just want to have fun. So I arrived at Central, and for like 5 minutes straight, I was just looking for her. And again, the more I can't find her, the more the suspense kind of builds. And I asked her to take a photo, and she took a photo, and she's kind of at the front near the train tracks, and I was like, that isn't helping. And then she said she's near the I place, which is the information place. So I walked over there, and I was just thinking, will I spot her first, or will she spot me first? And usually I spot people first, because I'm usually extremely alert of people and faces. But she was the one who spotted me first. She was like, Enoch. And I just turned. Like, I heard my name, and I immediately turned, and she's right beside me. And, holy fuck. I was not prepared. I was like, oh, hello. But I was not, like, for a few seconds, for a few minutes, I couldn't speak to her. But, like, I feel like that happens every time I, like, meet with someone whom I haven't seen in a while or are in a special situation. I just couldn't even speak to her. I couldn't even look at her. She was in her wolf cut, and when she just got her wolf cut, it was like a little messy, but the cut has grown out enough for it to look kind of natural. It's messy, but it's natural. She had a lot of makeup on her face, surprisingly. Which, you know, it's just like one night in Hong Kong with me, but she had makeup on, which I think is a good sign. She's taking this meeting a little seriously. You know, she had makeup on, and she had like eyeliner and like foundation. Her face was like sparkling, and I looked at her, and I couldn't look at her for a few seconds. I was like, Jesus, she's actually like attractive. And she was wearing a brown tank top and like a skirt and a leather pouch, right? Kind of simple, almost camouflage colors, but then I would say pastel colors, but she's radiating a lot of like positive, upbeat kind of energy from, I guess, her whole getup. And she's just there, and we lined up and we got back into the train, and I felt so different compared to her, because I'm not in makeup. I have curly hair now. I was wearing glasses, and I was wearing very simple clothes, like just a green shirt, you know, nothing fancy. And we hopped back to the train, and it was a rush hour, and I was like, for the first few minutes, I don't even know what to say. I was like, oh, you're here, so you're not on a river. Because like she shared her location, and it says that she's on a river, so I was joking that she might be on a river, but she's not on a river. And then, yeah, and it's funny because like there's no fucking rivers in Central. Like, if there is one, I would know. But yeah, so we got onto the train, and it was rush hour. It was packed, and we all got squashed in, and I got really close to her. I got really, really close to her, and the train went to Admiralty Station, and people started rushing out, and she got like pushed a little bit, and I tried to like catch her, but I don't know if I should touch her, so I was just hovering my hands over her, and that's it, you know. And then we sat down, and then she gave me her AirPod. And she's like, do you want? And I'm like, yeah. I don't know what to do with it. And so she's like, yeah, just put it on. So we shared music for a little bit. For like 3 minutes, we listened to like a Kendrick Lamar and the SZA song, which I thought was just really weird. Does not match the vibe of that moment at all. When I came to Central, I was listening to very crazy, dancey, pumpy EDM music, like nerve-wracking EDM music. And then she kind of switched over to city pop, and she started vibing, and she started doing like hand gestures in the air, and I'm like, damn. And I'm just sitting there. And then, yeah, anyways, we arrived at Saiwan Ho station. We got out, and she was able to enjoy the the station, and she's like, I'm like, are you ready? And I was laughing because like it's just a train station, but she enjoyed it. She's like, yeah, one car wide moment. And then yeah, and then I got out, and by then, so the original idea was I'm gonna take her to Tsim Sha Tsui and bring her to Chungking Mansion, and maybe we could walk around, and then it'll be Sai Wan Ho. We could walk in the park. It's gonna be nice and full of feels, and I'm gonna take her back to Central, and then maybe we could like, I don't know, maybe have a drink or just like walk around in feels. But obviously we did not have that luxury at all. We were only able to fulfill a small part of that plan, and that is have dinner and then have dessert, and that's it. So I got her out Sai Wan Ho, but at that point I was like, right, we need to have dinner. And honestly, the only place where there's like good dinner food is like Dong Dai Gai, like East Main Street, which is all the way in Shaoquan, which is like a 10-minute walk. And then so I just took her on this crazy walk in the rain, and I had an umbrella, and I was trying to shield her. But I wasn't doing a very good job because she walks quite fast, and sometimes I walk quite fast. But yeah. But yeah, I was holding the umbrella for her. And we just walked through the streets, and again, I was still processing the fact that she's here, which is, I think, a first. Like, I will forever associate her with palm trees and sand and sunny streets. Like, this is very much like reality glitching, a glitch in the Matrix. But yeah, she said, oh, it's so pretty, like, and now I understand why you wouldn't want to go back to LA. Like, this is very pretty. And she talked about how she told her mom that she's actually meeting with Maisie, and she sent her mom a photo of Maisie at Goodwill, saying that she's meeting with Maisie, when in fact she's meeting with me, because Maisie's in fucking Texas right now. And yeah, it's just a lot. And yeah. So I got lost. I told her this is my home turf, but I still somehow got lost. Like, I wasn't 100% sure where we're going. I took her all the way to Shaoquan Station and went underground and then went back out for East Main Street. And she was like, God damn it. This is, I thought this is your home turf. But yeah, we went on the street and we eventually got into a restaurant. It was very much like Japan trip, where we would just find a restaurant, we would go in and eat, because that's what normal people do. But I don't know, it's just very weird in this context. Yeah, we found a restaurant called Gamseng, and then we sat down and then we ordered, and it was very simple. We just had like a beef with mushroom bowl, and then tofu with like vegetables, and then 2 bowls of white rice, and then water with it. And it all came out to like $165, which is $20 in US, which is fucking insane. $20 for 2 people. And then we just had a meal, and it was great. And I sat beside her, and the 2 dishes we shared. Like, we had 2 bowls of rice, and then we shared. And again, like, maybe for her this is normal. I don't do this with random people. I might do this with family. I do this with close friends. But I don't know. Just this girl is just right beside me, and I'm sharing the same dish with her. And then yeah, and then we talked, and it's just so, like, dare I say, almost schizophrenic, the way we talk about LA, even though we're just in this small restaurant standing in front of a rainy street in Hong Kong, right beside a temple, And yeah, I also got to speak Cantonese in front of her, which I don't think has ever happened before. So yeah. Yeah, it was kind of schizophrenic because we talked a lot about SCA, and she talked about how she likes going to rooftops in LA, and she was looking into rooftops in Hong Kong, and she talked about her upbringing a little bit. I wish we had more like deep talk, and I know like a healthy conversation should have like a balance of like deep talk and small talk. I wish we had more deep talk, but every time I try to like talk about something deeper, it feels a little inappropriate. It feels like I'm prying into it too much, or like this is not the setting for it. Like at some point we talked about upbringing and how Jiren had a really strict upbringing, like her mom is really strict, and throughout the whole day she would constantly check her phone to see her mom's messages. Like I can tell she's really anxious about it. But yeah, and then she talked about why, because she had a very strict childhood, she becomes very unhinged and crazy in her college years. So a lot of smoking, drinking, dating, tattoos, piercings, and just crazy shit in general, which is cool. I talked about my thing, and like, you know, my parents aren't really that strict, but they're super Christian, and I guess that also was part of the reason why I'm so into evil shit and making edgy shit. And she's like, well, I don't think you're like edgy or crazy. You're like a very wholesome, nice guy. And I'm like, thank you, yeah. And I truly don't know how to feel about that statement from her, because for one, I do want to come off like a little crazy and weird. But then for two, that is a fair assessment, because in front of most people in the world, I just sound like this. And in fact, in front of close friends, I also do sound like this. Yes, I think there is a side of me that is kind of unhinged and crazy, but I have arrived at an age where I utilize it well so that it only comes out through my art and maybe when I'm ranting, but only when I'm ranting, when I'm emotionally in a bad place. But most of the time, I just sound really normal and level-headed, but in a nice, cutesy, wholesome, soft way. Even though I'm like perfectly capable of, I guess, making edgy shit. Maybe not be edgy, but at least making edgy shit. Like in fact, I've been making nothing but edgy shit in my films. But yeah. It's just so weird. I talked a lot about how much I hate LA and how much I want to stay in Hong Kong, and then yeah, it just felt so weird. It just felt so like out of this world. And then the meal, she ate half a bowl of rice and then she couldn't finish it, so we left and I paid. And then by then it was like 8:30, maybe 8:45, 8:40, and I still wanted to find dessert. I still wanted to bring Jian to that dessert place, Mengay. I don't know why, but like the moment Jian said she's coming to Hong Kong, that's like the first thing I can think of. It's like I need to bring her to this dessert place. I don't really know why. So we took one MTR station to Sai Wan Ho, back to Sai Wan Ho, and I walked her to Mengay. And then we sat down and we had dessert, the mango dessert, which I thought was the highlight. It was the main course for me. And she ate it really fast. She's like, I gotta go. My mom's getting worried about me. And she promised her mom she'll be back by 9. And then she pushed the limit saying, how about 9:15? So yeah, we didn't have time to like just dwell and feel and talk. But there were definitely a couple of interesting moments. One of them being when I gave her the matcha, she was like, "Oh, thank you." You know, is this like a peace thing? Like, are you trying to make peace? Like, are you? Because like, otherwise, I'm gonna go to your place and steal your Blu-rays. And I was like, haha, yeah. Yeah, please don't come and steal my Blu-rays. But I said that in such in such an ironic way that it's almost like I want her to come to my place and steal my Blu-rays. And then so she started laughing and she's like, "Why are you smiling? Like you're not even scared." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're threatening me. Damn, you're threatening me." Yeah. There were also like moments where there was a moment where I just told her I wish I could spend more time telling her about like my life story and shit, which I honestly think at this point it seems like Jayun's life is just more interesting than my life. But I usually think that for everyone anyways. But you know, Jayun's life includes, you know, so much family drama and her depression and I guess her suicide attempt and her friend dying and just her weird relationship stuff, and it just seems more dramatic than whatever I have. But maybe I do have dramatic things in my life. I just tend to not think of them. Because come to think of it, I was bullied like 3 times, and I don't know. I was weird when I was a kid. So I guess that's like my lore, but I often forget about it. But instead of telling Jayun about all that, I only told her about my first host family and how shitty it was, and how I kneeled on the floor crying and tried to secretly eat an orange at 2 a.m. And she was like, "Why do you keep telling me all these weird stories? Every time you tell a story, it's weird." And I take that as a compliment because that says a lot about me as a storyteller. Like, I remember very weird details, and I'm kind of proud that she's also enjoying the weirdness of my stories. So there's that. She touched my hair at some point. Her hair was like messy and wet, and she's like, "Whoa, your hair is dry," and then she touched my hair, and I let her touch my hair. Again, the parallels to Leslie, it's almost eerie. And then, yeah. And then again, we had the dessert, and I let her try like a spoon from mine. So again, there's a little thing, and then she's like, "I gotta go. I gotta call an Uber." So I'm like, "Fine." So I just let her go. I'm just like, "Okay." And I just watched her run off into the rain, and then she walked back briefly, and then she found the car, and then she walked away again. And I immediately paid $70. And right before she left, she was like, "Okay, I gotta go, Enoch. Today was so much fun. Give me a hug." So I gave her a hug. And again, usually when I don't hug people that much, when it's friends, I'm like, okay. But like, just okay. This reminds me of Leslie's hug, which I hugged her once, but it was a real hug. I felt her body heat and everything. Same with Jayun. Again, this may sound weird, but I'm gonna say it. Like, I hugged her and I could feel her body heat, and I could feel her arms and like kind of like sweatiness to her skin. It's a little sticky, and it just felt nice. And then she's just gone. She just runs off into the car, and then she just zoomed away. And then the final thing I saw with Jayun was, I was outside of the dessert restaurant, just taking out my umbrella, and I just saw a vague shape of her face, and I think it's her. And then she just zooms away. And I'm like, well, I guess that's it. Again, I don't really... It's good that I don't feel sad about this. Nor do I feel that excited, though. The thing is, as much as an insane thing it was for John to show up here and for me to bring her around, it wasn't like... My goal ultimately was to have fun. And I believe that's her goal, too. And I think it kind of worked out. Even though it could have been better, I could have brought her to more places. I wish I couldn't because of time constraints, but we both had fun, we both had a meal, and that's it. Wasn't sad, like I didn't regret not telling her a bunch of things because there will be another chance. But right, okay, before she hugged me, she gave me $100. She's like, how much do I owe you? And I'm like, just give me 100 and then buy me something in LA. See what I did there? I made an investment. I was like, hey, buy me something in LA because we have to meet again. So she's like, okay, I'll buy you something, I'll buy you a drink. And then, yeah, so hopefully she'll remember this unless she decides to disappear. Yeah. But yeah, it's still very just shocking. And I was very genuine, I like to think. Like, as much as I like to, or as much as I thought about, you know, being this cool, like, upbeat, nonchalant, kind of, yeah, man, it's all cool, yeah. Yeah, I'm just not that kind of guy. I smile, I'm, like, silly, I make fun of her sometimes. So I'm not, like, completely, you know. I feel like when I was with Leslie, I don't even make fun of her that often because I basically like worship her. Yeah. I told Jayan that I used to have a mustache, and she's like, if you do that, I will kill you. I will shoot you. But yeah. Jayan also talked about arguing with his mom the night before. And her mom going, why are you so depressed? Just go see a psychologist. But Jayan is already seeing a psychologist, so jokes. But yeah, that's that. Holy fuck. So I came back home, and then Jayan continued to text me saying, lol, I'm already at the hotel and my mom isn't even here yet. And then we proceeded to have a 35-minute phone call. 35, because that was not enough. Us meeting each other in real life is not enough. So we had a phone call, and I was actually better at saying things when it was over the phone because it doesn't come with like facial expressions and stuff. So I basically told her about how, you know, I met her, and then last semester she basically disappeared. And she's like, yeah, you know, I feel like you're not like a very prominent character in my life last semester. And I was like, yeah, same. And that's, I think, the hard truth is that we're not in the same cohort, we're not in the same major, we're not seeing each other that much, aside from running into each other. And, yeah. So yeah, yeah, so that's that. But yeah, it's so crazy. And then even after shower, she still texted me for a little bit. And I don't know, part of me's thinking, well, if Jayan has any intentions of being closer to me, she wouldn't have texted me that much. It would have been more of a, ooh, should I say this? Should I say that? But then, I don't know, like, different people express affection differently. B, at some point you have to be this. At some point you have to do this, you know? Like, this whole, ooh, I have feelings for her, but I don't know what to say. Like, at some point you have to break through that barrier. Another thing is, there are definitely moments where, you know, like, again, with the whole, you know, oh, I'm gonna steal your Blu-rays, I'm gonna come to your place and steal them, which is like a little, you know, a little thing. So I don't know, I'm not like disappointed at all. You know, yeah, I wish we would have, you know, had done more today, but whatever it was today was satisfying enough for me. So yeah, tomorrow is gonna suck ass because I'm gonna wake up at 7:15. So there's that. But yeah, I remember telling Jairin, like, you know, after we go back to LA, you're gonna be like a different person. And she's like, yeah, that might happen. I'm gonna be so locked in, I might not even be the same person. And so it's almost dystopian how we get to see each other on this side of the world, and then we go to that world and we'll be in another persona by then. And yeah. But I do really wish I could see her and talk to her and be more honest with her and tell her more things. So yeah, that was very interesting incident. And yeah. Okay, time now is 7:27 a.m. in the morning. On August 19th, we are 3 days away from leaving. Yeah, I slept pretty little. From 2:30 to 7:15. That's 4 hours and 45 minutes. I'm glad I'm back on my sleep deprivation grind. And the issue at hand is that apparently today I and the family are supposed to go on this amazing trip to Tai O, the fishing village, which I've been about 4 years ago, about 3.5 years ago. I went there with Miriam. And yeah, we're supposed to go today. And normally that's fine, but today is actually not a very great day to do it because I plan to film an album review, and I guess I don't have time for that shit now. And I plan to watch a film and some anime. I guess I don't really have time for that now. I have other stuff to do in general, and I have to accommodate. I have to compromise now. But the worst thing is, I'm actually going to be interviewing a filmmaker tonight at around 9 p.m. for the HKOS podcast, and I need to prepare myself for it. I need to watch the movie for it, or at least rewatch it. And I can't do any of that shit now because I'm having a little silly fun at Tai O. So that's fucking amazing. So I'm gonna do that actually. Yay! So yeah, and it's like a super early trip. Like I need to leave in like 15 minutes. So that's wonderful. That's great. So hopefully I get to come back earlier as soon as possible and continue my work because the work is important. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I low-key hope that today it would be raining super hard so that I could just stay at home all day. But yeah, I'm still processing yesterday. Still feeling, I don't know, maybe it's because she's like young and random. There's this huge, like, youthful, like, exciting energy surging out of her. I don't know, man. I feel like I should try for real. I feel like I should try for real. Like I just wanna, you know, I don't know. That's a big hurdle to get over though. To like try. I think with Leslie, it took me 15 minutes to confess to her. But this time it's not even a confession, it's just a game now. And I should try to play that game. Because it's not that serious. And that's Los Angeles. But yeah. But yeah, indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
收到最新嗰張成書啦，
都好窄㗎。
所以我而家全部申請都 po 晒。
冇辦法嗬，
因為
但係以前咧，唔知道。
本身跳舞都叻嘅，本身跳舞都叻嘅，本身都本身喺學校度做嘢。買嘅，跟住喺學校做。我本身讀書嗰陣時都學緊男仔，得幾個男仔。
有冇以前嗰啲？
5G prevention.
5G prevention. Anti-vax.
curve 得好 natural， 跟住冇乜事。
我有嘅啊，中國探險協會創辦人黃孝文博士。好啊，即係呢個飛佢咧係即係一直線咁連落去嘅。嗱，3蚊
都會叫水陸居民，係嘛？接近頭先阿牧師都講咗佢三重棒，咁我就喺三重棒前3排咧，喺陸上邊嗰個永安街嘅。咁我以前咧都同即係1、2、3涌嘅朋友都有，即係大家都係喺大學讀書。
喺度啊！喺度啊！我你一跟住上正常得嘅。
會唔會就係老鼠啊？
做嘅嚇，每人有2隻啊，放啲都有份嘅我哋啊。
Okay, boys and girls, right now it's 12:39, and after midnight, yeah, so today is my third last day in Hong Kong, and it's crazy, you know, I just came back from Kyoto, and now I'm counting down my days, to departure for the final round of USC, unless I start MFA. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I feel like I've been so overwhelmed with everything in life that I kind of just can't feel these things anymore, you know? And, I just let the wave hit me. So for today, I woke up at 7:15 after 4.5 hours of sleep, which is not ideal at all, but also 4 hours of sleep is like fine. I survive on that shit. So I woke up at 7:15. I actually went back to bed for 10 more minutes, and then I slowly dressed up, brushed my teeth, and I left. And I went to Tai O, which is this fishing village at the westernmost point of Hong Kong, I believe. And yeah, pretty much I've been there several times already, maybe 4 times, maybe 5, but I know that the last time I went there was December of 2021, when I went with Miriam, because I was on this run of like adventures. And even though 2021 December was nearly 4 years ago, it didn't feel that long ago. So I was like, Tai O again? But yeah, anyways, we went. I was hoping that there would be rain so that the trip would be canceled. But no, I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll go. So, yeah, so I went at 8 a.m. I went into my aunt's car. Me, my mom, my brother, my cousin, my aunt, we all went over to Tung Chung. And then at there, we took a bus ride to Tai O. But the interesting thing this time is that we weren't at the touristy, like, quote-unquote, downtown part of Tai O. We're not at the central zone where all the restaurants and all the, you know, all the Tai O stuff are at. We're at, like, a side village, and then we had to cross this like not very stable bridge. Okay, hold on a moment. No, very stable bridge, but very narrow, to this metal sheet place, which this little platform made of wood and metal sheets, which has a lot of chairs, and a lot of people sit on there for this little event where a bunch of congressmen of the Tai O area just sort of come out and basically talk about this boat. And it's like a ritualistic thing where the boat is part of the Tai O culture and something. I don't really know what's going on, honestly. I don't care either. My mom thought I would be, bringing my camera and filming, but I have zero interest. I'm gonna be honest here. It was picturesque. The mountains were beautiful. The river flows beautifully. I just was not. I just can't. I don't want to hold a camera anymore for the next few months. I just can't. So I just didn't really care. I arrived and I immediately felt hungry. So me and my cousin and my brother, it's like a little addendum after our Japan trip. We went to a Cha Chan Teng nearby, sat down and ordered food. Yeah, we just ordered a bunch of food. Toast, I had milk tea, and that's basically breakfast part 2. I think after Japan, I'm like accustomed to eating more food than I'm supposed to. Okay, and then we went back and they're holding this event, and the kids in the company are playing music, and these congressmen are giving really long speeches. It's just a lot, and yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then after that, there's lunchtime at noon, which was fine. And then what I like though is that even I wore like sporty clothes, like nylon clothes, expecting that it's gonna be wet and sweaty and hot and gross, but it wasn't. Actually, it was like, it was humid, but it wasn't like Kyoto humid for some reason, even though realistically Hong Kong is the wetter place, and it's also cool for some reason. Maybe it's because it's rainy, but it was actually fine. It was breezy actually. But yeah, after lunch there's this very brief session of making salted duck eggs, and I got to play with the duck egg yolk. And then after that, I took some photos, and then me, my mom, my brother, some others, we went to a cafe and I drank some mocha, and then that's it. And then that's it. And then we went back to Tongchong, and then me, my brother, my mom, my aunt, we went through the mall and I bought some underwear and socks in Uniqlo, and then after that we went back home. By the time we went back home it was 5:30, and I wanted to go back home early because obviously I have this interview with a filmmaker. And so I went back home, took a shower, and then I prepared for the interview, and then I had dinner, and then at 9 p.m. I interviewed the filmmaker. So yeah, so I was a little nervous, just a tiny bit, because I was like, ugh, it's my first time interviewing a filmmaker, you know. But then I realized, I'm not a complete amateur at this. I've done plenty of interviews when I did the Film 33 documentary. Giants talking to me, yeah, you know, I did plenty of interviews and I know films, but I did my research. I did extensive research. I looked up the guy's Facebook. I tried to watch his short films. I rewatched some scenes from his film. Turns out I didn't even need to do that much research. So I not demonstrated. I rehearsed the sound. I plugged my laptop to my Yeti mic and my earphones. I tried everything, and then I got on Zoom, and I was well prepared. I know what to say, the intro, I know the questions, and it went pretty well. I was like a little awkward sometimes, but he's a nice guy, and he's just as new to film as I am. Maybe, well, that's an exaggeration. I'm newer. He's been making short films since 10 years ago, and he just made a feature film, but he's just as, he's really humble. He's like, I'm not even like a director yet. But yeah, it was a nice conversation, talk to him, and yeah, so I just finished editing the podcast video. I'm uploading it right now to the HKOS channel. I know this is super last minute, but like I'm literally pulling my strings for HKOS right now. I'm changing their thumbnails, I'm doing podcasts, I'm editing trailer. I emailed that guy for like a PNG for his film of the logo, and then I emailed another woman for her trailer. She hadn't even edited the trailer. I told her it would be cool if there's like a trailer or something, and she's like, okay, well, I could whip this up in like the next couple days. And I'm like, great, because the film festival's starting in less than a week. Like, I need the trailer. And then I asked John L for the trailer for his short film, and he's like, okay, here you go. And I don't even have the trailer for 10 years, and yesterday I had to download it from YouTube because we just don't have it. I'm trying my best here, okay? Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but I'll try. There are attempts of trying. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, and then the moment Jiayun landed in LA, the land of poison and violence and evil and malice and fuckery, she DM'd me. She's like, I landed and I'm here now and we're talking again. Jiayun just really likes talking to me. And again, I don't know if I should feel happy about it or sad about it or worried. I don't know, but you know, Giant, like Madison was like, what are you doing in Hong Kong? And because Giant made an Instagram story, it's like blurry rain, like abstract on the window, and Giant was like, oh, in HK exclamation mark, and Madison was like, what are you doing in Hong Kong? And she's like, aha, I'm just, you know, oh, I ran into Enoch. And Madison's like, oh, that's like a reunion. But like, she didn't run into me. She came to see me. She went south to see me. A girl of her caliber came down to see me. Came to my turf. And I walked her through the rain. I'm still processing yesterday. And you know, Michelle's been bugging me today, DMing me and talking to me and like, oh, what happened with that girl? And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you, because you're just gonna laugh at me. But like, I don't know, there's just, there's like a little tension, just a tiny, tiny bit. That's an insect. What the Holy shit, there was an insect on my phone for a moment there. That was... What the fuck? Okay, anyways, I digress. Yeah. There's a little tension. It's... Another thing I noticed about Jiren is, like, she's good at maintaining eye contact, which makes sense. She's, like, an extrovert, and she's really good at socializing, but every time I look at her, she's also looking at me. And usually that's the case, because I usually have very bad eye contact game. But these days I try my best to look at people, stare at people in the eye, because it's like, it asserts power to a certain degree. And to do that with Jiren, again, Jiren's like a nice person, but like the more I know her, the more she's like, wow, she actually has the sauce, and she's a little crazy. And she's staring into me, and I'm staring back into her, and I'm trying to combat her staring. But then she's staring at me, but it wasn't like aggressive staring. It was like friendly, which is like, well, duh. But like, I don't know, it just has me thinking. And like, her face like kind of glowing from the ridiculous makeup. But I do want to see her without makeup. That's the thing. Like, she looks great with makeup. Now I'm curious, and I need to see her without makeup now, which I think I've seen, but I'm not sure because her face changes every time I see her. Yeah. Anyways, what an interesting individual. God damn, can't believe I'm saying this, but she interests me now. She is indeed intriguing individual. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow I'll be seeing Cedric and Natalie, and I'm returning to the school. Holy ball sacks. So, big day, interesting day. I'm gonna try to wake up early, I'm gonna try to watch a film later, and, yippee-ki, yay. Okay, time now is 10:24, magic number, and, right now, it's August 20th. We are 2 days away from leaving. Holy testicles. I am not ready to leave at all, and yeah, once again, I'm unfortunately, I do not get any opportunity to rest during this entire summer. It has been one busy thing after another. So yeah, that's basically it. I slept from 3:15 to 9:15-ish. And that's crazy. I set an alarm at 10 a.m. and I didn't even wake up to that alarm. I woke up naturally at 9:15 after 6 hours of sleep. I don't know why. I think it's because like I'm kind of like, because of Japan, my body is used to waking up around 9 a.m. because in Japan I would wake up around 8 or earlier. But yeah, I just had 6 hours of sleep and I naturally woke up and I feel fine. So there's that. Unfortunately, I slept quite late last night because I watched a film on 1.5 times speed while chatting with Jiren. and then I was like, that movie's trash. I have to follow it up with something good. So I watched another episode of anime, and here I am. But yeah, you know, I can't believe time management is an issue again. So today I'm thinking of filming 2 reviews, but I also realized that I want to prepare for my trip to the school later. So yes, today one of the biggest things is going to happen, and that is I'm going to travel back to the school for one last time before many years later. But by then, many years later, it would have been so different already. And I'm going to be taking a lot of photos and a lot of videos, and also I'm going to take a tape measure, and I'm actually going to start measuring around things and be a PD. I think last time I went back to the school, which was a while ago, honestly. Yeah, in fact, I have reason to believe that last time I went back to the school was probably 2023 November during open day. So that was 2 years ago. And then before then, it was 2021, the fake graduation. But yeah, I would like to be PD mode for the school right now. I would just like to see the environment, know the sizes and the distances between one side of the room to another side of the room, and also figure out what the mystery rooms are, because I've always never figured out what the mystery rooms are. And yeah, so I'm gonna bring a tape measure with me. It's so crazy, but that's what I'm gonna do. And I also have Cedric to help me, so that's great, because I also haven't seen the guy in a whole year. And so that's gonna be fun. And then I and Cedric will have several hours to kill after 3 p.m. And then around 7 we'll be meeting up with Natalie, and us 3 will have a bit of a reunion, which I never thought would happen. My cynical ass honestly thought we would never have a reunion again. Last summer I refused to see Natalie because I was still kind of in this state of, well, Natalie's the reason why I'm like this, which is still true. I don't think Natalie herself realizes it, and maybe she has realized it, but when she's hurt, she hurts others. And when I'm hurt, I just get down, and I've gotten down a lot and kind of ruined things for me a little bit. But I do respect her as a person. I still think she's one of the most interesting persons I've ever known. And yeah. So yeah, that's happening. I forgot the last time us 3 were together. I think the last time us 3 were together was September 2023, when we met up at Taiku very briefly for Gyukaku, the beef, the shabu shabu beef restaurant. But I think that's it. You know, I don't think we ever had a reunion again. So for us to have dinner this time, it's better, because no one is in a hurry. No one should be in a hurry. And yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day. Again, like, as we approach the final day of this summer interlude, things get more and more dramatic, and I just have to let them hit me, you know. So that's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, and I'm gonna continue trying to help out with HKOS. I'm really like trying to save HKOS last minute. I'm really changing their thumbnails. I just uploaded the podcast last night, and I'm doing my best. Okay, I'm doing my best. So yeah, that's that. Yep. 哇，6A 班喎。
咩啊做
嚇？但係我走嗰陣時候仲有呢嚿嘢，即係2020年已經有。
換 filter 即係話唔需要換咁多嘢㗎嘛。
下邊嘅都要嘅喎。下邊有四個張嚟收。
你好啊，楊老總長，啲救生翻嚟學校參觀下，你認得佢㗎？唔認得。
我認得佢。
佢認得你喎。而家望兩望好似係頭先。你快啲瞓矮啲先啦。係啊，佢之前記得咁樣。係啊。我揾緊鎖匙啊！插咗喺個櫃度咯。梗唔係啦。啲鎖匙都要揾嘅，同啲人同我揾眼。
3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、12、13、14、15、16、17、18、19、20、21、22、23、24、25。哇！哇！Man, remember sports day? Sports day? Sports day?
For your lives.
It was just like over there.
Yeah, I know. Run for your lives.
I'm happy to see that it's still the same.
I'm pretty sure they rebuilt it.
Really? What in the Shenzhen is that?
Yeah.
What in the Guangzhou is that?
Yeah.
What the
It
fuck?
isn't there.
Wait, what was this before? It was
It was a random
cake.
shop.
No, it was
Yeah, it's the cake shop.
what in the
Yeah,
what in the Shanghai is this?
well, it just opened.
Oh shit, dude, we got to simplify. What
Yeah, it's
the hell? Wait, what was this before? Oh, it's the stationery place.
No, it isn't.
No, where was the stationery place?
Behind.
Oh, I don't know. Was the Manning here before? I don't think so.
Who's Manning's, bro?
No, Manning.
Yeah.
Really?
Been here. It was either this or no, this one's here.
Oh shit!
I think it's this.
This is the stationery place. It's still here.
Or it's that one, yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Wing. This was a piano place. remember the typhoon? And you were filming me, or I was filming you, like one way or the other.
It was great.
Still here. Oh, what's that place?
That was
Gamme.
Gamme Udon, yes.
Yes. Walking here with, Anson Hong and others, being angry, the hatred. I know the feeling too well. Same layout.
Yep.
Same layout.
What is your title?
My title.
What the hell?
I don't actually have a
Are you
Ooh, sheesh. What?
like the friend group in Form 2 basically like destroyed my. So one of the few books that are like fiction that I genuinely enjoy. Yo,
It's Camus, by the way.
I'm gonna still pronounce it as Camus. They have a whole section.
Can you open? Yeah, no. It's fine. After that, it's okay. You can open.
Okay, right now it's 1:26 a.m. in the morning. I have acne under the lip, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because it hurts and it's kind of distraction, but it's also like not the worst place to have acne because it's a little hidden. It's like blended into my lip, and yeah. Anyways, it's late, and I'm trying my best to sort of finish as much as I can today. And yeah, oh my god, I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of emotions, I have a lot of feelings, and it's going to take a little while. Yeah, so I sort of woke up naturally after 6 hours, and I basically filmed a couple reviews, and then I had to leave. I asked, Miss, what is Hermes? That's like her fake name. The chemistry teacher, my Form 6 class teacher. She promised me, she said, okay, can you come to the school at around 2 p.m.? I'm like, sure. And then I asked Cedric to join, and I was like, let's meet up at like 1:45-ish. And unfortunately, even though going back to the school is a very big and important event, I was actually late for like nearly half an hour because I just spent so much time working on the HKOS stuff, and then you know, just all this stuff, you know, just the HKOS stuff, and then filming the reviews and having lunch, and then by the time when I was leaving the apartment, it was already 1:50 p.m., which is terrible. But yeah, it's so crazy because I think the last couple of times I've returned to the school, which was of course the graduation day on the fake graduation, and then the return, that is the open day in November. The last two times they were both very serious. They were both very serious moments. where I really dress up. I try to dress up well, and I listen to music, and they all mean a lot. But I guess this time around, I'm just going, and it felt way more casual because I'm not going as Enoch Lai. I'm not going there as, you know, the man who used to have a broken past and is carrying all this weight. I'm going there to take a look at memory lane and measure things. I had a sketchbook with me, a pencil case, and a tape measure, a pretty shitty small tape measure, so that I could just measure things and take a bunch of photos and then leave. And yeah, because I'm kind of removed from that, I guess, mentality. I'm kind of removed from that, I wouldn't say persona, but I'm kind of removed from that already, and I'm there just to collect data, just so that I could recreate the school somewhere. So it was nice. So I went and I took bus 82. It came pretty fast, and I filmed the entire journey to the school. I filmed the entirety of it because it's such a sacred path. And then I arrived, and Cedric was obviously was like, "Wow, you're so American." I haven't seen Cedric in like a whole year, and he was like, "Wow, you're so American for being late," which is not true. I think Europeans are often like later than Americans, but yeah. So we went in, and it's crazy. Again, it's like a bit of a double whammy. Last time I saw Natalie, it's the first time I saw her since a year and 3 months, and then I had to see Miss Solomon and Keith and Bernice for the first time in a long time. And now I got to see Cedric for the first time in a year, and then I got to see the school for the first time in nearly 2 years. And first of all, Cedric looks skinny. Holy shit. He lost so much weight, and his arms are skinny. And it's crazy because usually I'm the skinny one. And I'm like, I got a belly now. Hopefully I got wider shoulders. But Cedric's skinny. I was like, how heavy are you? And he's like 51 kg. And I'm like, what does that mean? So I converted it to pounds, and turns out Cedric's at 125 pounds, and I was like, holy shit, I'm at 143. I'm 18 pounds heavier than you. So that's crazy, and it makes me feel less bad about myself. But yeah, we eventually went in. Our teacher got us in, and we greeted her, and it was nice, and we talked a little bit. And the school's really empty because it's summer. But yeah, it was just like nice and comfortable. Like, I wouldn't say welcoming, but I would say like it's just very, very casual. He's like, yeah, just take a look, take some photos, yeah, you know. So we wrote down our names on the visitor sort of sheet, and then we just walked. And despite the fact that the school had changed so much, like the bathrooms have changed, the canteen looks different now, and some rooms are renovated. A lot of it still has that character. The structure is still there, and I'm just having nothing but flashbacks. So many flashbacks to the point where I can't even pinpoint a specific event at a location, because I would be at a location and I would remember like 10 things. But yeah, we just went, and we took an elevator to the 5th floor, to the 6th floor, and then we walked to 7th floor, and we walked back down to the 3rd floor to talk to people and take a look at things. And we got the other class teacher that I had, the English teacher with a British accent. And she's also really nice, and then we chatted a little bit about where we are right now. Again, it's really weird because I seldom just WhatsApp DM a teacher and say, hey, can I come to the school? Like, I'm usually very inactive and passive, but I just kind of had to, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad on the last day of the Japan trip, I was like, fuck it, I'm a DM this teacher. And so I did it, and yeah. So it's just kind of surreal, but also at the same time very peaceful. Maybe it's because it's not crowded and it's kind of empty. But I'm sad that I wasn't able to take a look at the bathroom because every single bathroom is being repaired right now. So I will never truly have any photos and videos of how the bathroom looked like before, because all of them are being renovated as we speak. So that's unfortunate. But I still vaguely remember the layout of it, and I also took a peek at the wall, so I kind of remember it better now. But still, it's like, wow. So yeah, and it's so funny because Cedric and I, we speak to each other in English, but in front of teachers we speak to each other in Cantonese, and yeah, it's just really funny. Lots of changes. The school hall, there's a giant Hong Kong flag and a Chinese flag backed side by side, which is horrifying. And yeah, I couldn't get into most of the classroom. Most of the classrooms I did get into. Did I get into 4A? No, I don't think I did. But yeah, what else? The bathrooms changed. The library's still same, but turns out a lot of the bookshelves are replaced. Biology lab, all the tables are bigger now. Lots of very tiny changes. And what else? Oh yeah, the detention room, it's not for detention anymore. Detention isn't a thing anymore. Oh my god, so many people are DMing me, what the... Okay, I'm gonna worry about that stuff later. Yeah, detention room is turned into this Chinese styled room, and it just looks like this this Chinese style room, and then the English room, the other room, which is used to be this English oral lesson thing, is now just regular classroom. Okay, people, okay, hold on. So, yeah, lots of changes, and then we eventually said goodbye at the first floor, and then me and Cedric we left, and we spent a good amount of time on the ground floor just walking around, and I did a lot of measuring. I would just pull out my measuring tape. Unfortunately, if I had like hours and if I had like full access to the whole place, I would just go into every single room, or at least all the important rooms, and just measure the shit out of everything, like the size of the table, the length and width and height of a classroom, etc. But I just can't. But you know, sometimes I would just whip out the tape measure, and I would just measure the width of a stairwell, the width of a door, etc. So, yeah, there's that. And then, yeah, me and Cedric were at the ground floor. We just walked around and looked around. And then suddenly, Cedric spotted Mr. Wu, the math teacher from Form 1. And even though when Mr. Wu started teaching, he was like a new teacher. But now, he's been teaching here for like over 12 years now. So he's a veteran. So we spotted him, and he came down, and he's just like a young adult like us. Like, he just sounds like a young adult, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm teaching all of this stuff, and I'm doing administrative stuff, and it's really boring, and I'm getting sick. It's, how's everyone? How's people? Oh yeah, Queenie. So he mentioned Queenie and how Queenie is like making flower bouquets now, and Mr. Wu has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend's brother is graduating and he needs a bouquet of flowers, so he asked Queenie to make a bouquet of flowers for him. And he said he met Zane, the cosplayer girl, and Zane used to work as like a nurse clinic or something. And then I mentioned a bunch of people like Keith and Natalie, and Mr. Wu was like, yeah, it's been so long. So yeah, really interesting. But yeah, it's interesting because Mr. Wu follows me on Instagram. It's crazy. And he said, oh, I saw that you went to some film festival, or did you make some films? And I'm like, yes, I did. So it's really interesting that these teachers actually do look at my Instagram and stuff. So there's that. But yeah, it ended on a high note, and after a while, like 3-something-ish, I and Cedric, we just left. We're like, yep, we're done here, let's go. So I waved goodbye, and then we walked away. So we proceeded to go to the island, the South Island Mall, the Island South Mall, Nawangpundo, and we just walked over the place, and I filmed everything and trying to recall which restaurant is where. And then we went all the way over to the other side, where we went to another mall. The other side, where you get a Korean restaurant and Saizeriya and whatever. And yeah, so that's interesting. And then after all that, I bought a drink at a Circle K. I bought lemon tea because you never go wrong with lemon tea. And then I got I'm so tired. And then me and Cedric, we took bus 8P, which goes all the way to Wan Chai. And I originally thought about taking bus 82 back, but then it doesn't get to Wan Chai. So yeah, unfortunately, originally I wanted to take bus 82 so that I could film the other side, but I didn't. So the second half of the day is me and Cedric. We arrived at Times Square, and we just like waited a bit here and there for Natalie to show up. It's really interesting. We talked about Natalie earlier, but Natalie wasn't there, and then we're going to see Natalie. And then we eventually saw her, and she was she just showed up. We waited outside of Sogo, and she just showed up out of nowhere. And again, even though I recently saw Natalie, it's still a bit shocking to see her gain this much weight and look like this. And then Cedric's just there, and Cedric's skinny now, and Natalie's big now, and I don't understand how they're not like shocked of each other. But yeah, and then we just walked to the restaurant place, which is Noodles, which is ironic because I had noodles for lunch and then I had more noodles for dinner. And we went into the restaurant, and it's like I ordered spicy lamb noodles, and it was a little too spicy, even though I ordered like a little spicy. But it was spicy. It was numb spice. But yeah, and then we just talked, and most of the conversation we had today is like fun and games. It's just like making fun of each other. Also, I surprisingly was way more relaxed. I usually, especially Natalie and Cedric, I don't know why. I think a good period of time between 2021 to 2023, I was like, oh, Cedric and Natalie, they don't really like me, and I don't really know if I should like get back to them anymore. But surprisingly, I was really comfortable with them too, and I make fun of them, and I make jokes, and I was just like free and chilling, and it was really nice for some reason. And I oh my god, it's nearly 2 a.m. So it was really nice. We talked a lot about people. We just, again, a lot of talk about jobs, and Cedric recently started a new job where he works as some web developer for a startup, and he's not earning much money, while Natalie has a real job that actually earns her money. And then they're just talking about salaries and etc. And then we talked about other people. We talked about Kingsley. There's a bit of a truth bomb. There's a bit of a moment where Natalie told me that apparently a while back, during the first couple of years of uni, Kingsley actually cheated on Olivia with another girl because they couldn't have sex, and Kingsley really wanted sex, and Natalie was like, yeah, you know, they didn't have sex for a while until maybe year 3. And at that point, I was like, man, I hate that sex is like such a normal thing. Like, oh yeah, well, they eventually did have sex. Phew, finally, back to normal. And then I realized Cedric's in a very bad position. I asked Cedric, because at some point I and Cedric spent some time at a McDonald's at Chaiwan. And I just jokingly, I was like, did you make out with someone? And Cedric was like, I wish. And I'm like, whoa, what? And Cedric's like, yeah, I don't talk to a lot of girls, and I don't really get the chance to. And I'm like, damn, that sucks, because Cedric reminds me of me in the early days of Los Angeles. But like right now, I am trying really hard, to talk to people and to make connections and stuff, despite the fact that I'm still a single virgin. But I'm not, hiding in my room and stuff. I have an incentive to go out and talk to people. And so I just really wanted Cedric to also have that kind of motivation, even though it can seem really hard at that point. Also, that made me feel a little bit better for myself, because literally 2 nights ago, I was with this girl, and she is really fun to talk to, and also really nice. Don't know what my chances are, but that's already the farthest I've ever gone. Despite the fact that I've confessed to Leslie before, I feel like this is now beyond Leslie in some ways. Okay, more on that later. Anyways, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, Cedric was like bummed out. Cedric was like, throughout the whole day today, Cedric was just very, I wouldn't use the word depressed, I would say very bummed out, very downtrodden. And he's like, wow, I guess everyone I know is dating now. Because Idris, who is this nerdy Rubik's Cube boy, he's got tons of girls now. He's got tons of chicks for some reason. And then Tyrus obviously lost his virginity a couple of years ago already. So it's just like Cedric's like self-deprecating, and he thinks everything's meaningless. He's in this job that doesn't really earn him much money. He doesn't have a real goal. And the thing is, like, he acts as if I'm doing way better than him, which might be true, but that's only because I've been worse than him. Like, in Forms 3 and 4, even though Cedric's academic scores were going down, at least Cedric had a lot of motivation to live and talk to people, and and I was like rock bottom. I was meaningless, and it was only because of that I was able to launch myself back up. And I feel like Cedric doesn't know that, and Cedric thinks, a little bit later, after Cedric left, Natalie talked to me, and this is like one of the first times where Natalie voluntarily wanted to have a more, I guess, personal conversation with me, which I didn't expect, but I was like, oh, that's nice. I feel like I impressed Natalie today. That's such a weird thing to say, but I feel like I impressed her today. But yeah, Natalie was like, should you tell Cedric, or should I tell Cedric that life shouldn't be easy, or that life doesn't have to be that hard? And I'm like, yeah, life shouldn't be easy, because if it's easy, then where's the fun? But also, like, it's never easy anyways. But yeah, so I just really wanted to let Cedric know that, hey, you're suffering, but that's okay, because we all suffer. But yeah, there's that. And then after dinner, we all went to a sleep bookstore. Again, it's my 3rd time going back in this trip, and a 2nd time Natalie brought me there. And yeah, I bought 2 books actually, or Natalie, I got 2 books, and Natalie paid for me, and I paid Natalie back because Natalie had discount. But anyways, we went through the books, and I was actually like, oh, I know this one, I know that one. And Cedric the whole time was just like, yeah, I don't know any of this shit. But throughout the whole thing, I was talking to Natalie much more, and Natalie seems to be having more conversations with me. and Cedric would just wander away. But I think that's because Cedric just wanders away. It's not because Cedric's a boring person or anything. And that's so interesting because that used to be me. You know, back in secondary school, I was like aloof and I can't talk to people. And I think everyone thinks I'm boring and bad. So again, rare strange parallels. But I feel like I impressed Natalie. And that's a very weird thing to say because I've always wanted to impress her since the dawn of time, since the day I met her in Form 1 back in 2014. And I think even in 2021, 2022, I was like, you know, Natalie's doing so well, and Natalie probably thinks I'm shit and unimportant loser. But today I tried to like wear the weirdness on me. You know, I got the tape measure, I drew Natalie, and I showed Natalie a drawing of her, and I was just like fun. I was just having fun for the most part today. And I look at books and stuff, and it was like enjoyable actually. And Natalie would like come up to me and say things, and you know, Natalie right now, she's just working at another banking job, and she has a boyfriend, a stable relationship, blah, blah, blah. After Cedric left, I and Natalie were on the MTR. Cedric sort of left us at the Causeway base station. We were at the MTR. Natalie lives with her boyfriend now. And Natalie just asked me, yeah, I think I'm boring. And I looked at her in the eye. Which, by the way, again, this eye contact thing. I realized I don't look at people enough. I looked at Natalie and I said, nah, you're not boring. It seems like she's boring now, but she's interesting, actually. She's actually one of the most interesting person I've ever known, ever in life. And it may not seem that way, but I'm quote-unquote interesting now. You know, in front of Natalie, I talk about my crazy film projects experience. You know, I act kind of funny, but I also do interesting things. Like in this situation right now, it seems like I'm the interesting person, but I'm interesting partially because of her and the people like her, because she's weird and she inspired me, and she gave me ideas for my stories and made me want to do film. And then I really wanted to tell Natalie the truth about how sad I was during secondary school, and I even talked about how shit my secondary school life was. But of course for her life was also kind of shit. And then I talked about how, you know, every single year I look back and I was like, oh, the last year is fucked up. But like halfway through that conversation, Natalie just left because it's North Point and Natalie had to go. And I couldn't really finish the conversation. And I realized it would be like 2 years until I can continue, which is really sad. So I came back home feeling so many things. One is that I think me, Cedric, and Natalie, we influence each other so much, and we don't know it. So much so that we don't even notice, because we were there since the beginning. We were there since we were young, impressionable, new teens. So yeah, again, like part of the reason why I'm like this right now, you know, I'm quirky, I'm kind of edgy, I like artsy stuff, is because Natalie's weirdness has inspired me in some ways. And you know, I feel like for me, being friends with Cedric very early on in 2014, 2015, 2016 had also inspired me in some ways. Even though right now I feel like, oh, I'm this alien person. I'm studying in the US, I do film, but like I'm inspired by them in so many ways. And they don't even notice it. And maybe I've influenced them. That would be crazy. The other thing is, I realized that there's so much stories to tell. The way Natalie like sort of looked at me and smiled at me on the MTR train, even though she looks like a completely different person now. That smile, I recognize that smile. And she carries so much weight, she carries so much history, and she just leaves and disappears into the crowd, and I'm just like, damn, this story, it's, who's gonna know? And then I went back home and I was like, wow, I love storytelling. This is why I'm alive, because I live to tell these stories. Natalie's gonna be a character in my story, Cedric's gonna be a character, and I will be alive to tell their amazing, horrifying, but beautiful stories. And so it's almost like right before I returned to LA, I rediscover my love for storytelling and filmmaking, which I really needed. So yeah, so it was kind of beautiful. It's cathartic, it's off-putting, it's an itch that will never be satisfied. It's numbing, it's like edging, but also it's serene. It's gonna be okay. So it's just so many thoughts, and yeah, I'm reading into it too much, but yeah. So there's that. There goes my meeting with Natalie and Cedric, and who knows what kind of person I'll become 2 years later. But yeah. So I talked to Giant a little bit here and there. Again, I've been talking to Giant every day for like a whole month. It's insane. And again, there are these like very intimate moments between me and Giant that I know it's very friendly, but I hope it's more than that. And I find it very beautiful and sad somewhat, but also beautiful that I experience all these feelings and emotions, and I tell the girl that I just met in some other world. But that same girl was also here in Hong Kong 2 nights ago, and have stepped through the streets that I've stepped through. And this girl, I just tell her my pain and my feelings in great detail. All this beauty, all this poetry, I just give it to her. So I just told Giant all my thoughts. And again, last time I hung out with Giant, which is 2 nights ago, of course, like the whole thing is like kind of jokey, and we don't really have a lot of time to have a deep talk, but that was the deep talk. Like, I was talking to her about my feelings, and it felt very deep and personal, and Giant responds in a very thoughtful way, and she talks about herself, and I'm like, wow. And I was like, yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to tell you all the lore that night. And she's like, yeah, I was really sad too. Like, on the car, when I was leaving you, I was like, wow. And then, yeah, and she said, and that's such a beautiful thing, she said, aw, but I'm glad I'll be able to see you when you come to LA. It's like, you're like a breath of fresh air. And I'm just like, Jesus. Like, I don't know how genuine that is, but for someone to tell you that you're a breath of fresh air is like an honor. And I feel like accomplished. And then there's even a moment where, again, like, Giant keeps bringing up the fact that I have a bunch of Blu-rays and that she's gonna come and steal them, and she keeps teasing it, like, oh, I'm gonna come to your place, I'm gonna keep coming to your place. And then also just I was like, yeah, there's a lot of lore, and she's like, don't worry, we'll definitely like have more lore together. And Giant starts talking about how she feels like she's spiritually a 1,000-year-old woman, and she can't wait to be freed from being a human being. And I was like, well, I'm the opposite, because I can't wait to be human. And Giant was like, does this mean I need to bring you to a rave? Yeah, just a lot of these moments, and I'm like, damn, it's too much. So yeah, it's late, I gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up hella early, because finally Miriam had responded, and she's only available for freaking breakfast. So I'll be meeting her, I'll be waking up hella early just to meet her for breakfast. So yeah, but man, so many feels, so many things. Damn.